Hello and welcome to OzByDrone. I'm Greg and we're having fun with technology. This time it's not Wirecast's fault. It's okay. We're here and it's working. Hey Grumps, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Greg. How about you? I'm just chilling right now and trying to come up with all sorts of witty things to say to all the great people in the audience there, but I can't think of nothing witty to say, so
You've got
that's
nothing
how I'm
witty.
doing.
So just briefly, before we get started, ColdFlake, our guest, is hiding in the background and I'm typing messages to him over here. At the moment, we've got a black screen from him and not seeing very much. So I might have a little bit of back and forth as we go and get that sorted out. But everything else is working today, touch wood. So we're going to be good.
With a lot. Yeah.
So what's happening in your world this week? I saw a video on your channel this morning and it was very,
Yes.
very timely.
Yeah, it's today is the remembrance of 9/11. Happened 19 years ago today. I can't believe it's been 19 years, but it's something for some reason a lot of people in this country have forgotten. I wish they wouldn't, but that's why I put my video up, just because, hey, it's a day I'll never forget. There's three particular days. 9/11 being the one, and then of course it's April 19th. Can't remember the year now. Here in Oklahoma City, where Timothy McVeigh attacked the federal building. So, 9/11 and Oklahoma, or New York and Oklahoma, have a lot in common related to that because of we had the first major terrorist attack until and that was a homegrown terrorist. And this country forgets that, but so a lot of people though are celebrating it. So that's or memorializing, not celebrating, but memorializing. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to say, I don't know, ColdFlake, can you do me a favor? How can I get him that info? Try reload browser. Because it's going to be a pretty boring special episode if we can't get our guest up there. But anyway, let's move on while we're waiting for him. And our first piece of news today is, and I'm going to do, is it going to work? There we go. So our news today, what's happening now? As always, is your drone healthy or is it about to surprise you on your next flight? Don't wait to find out. Discover under the hood information and review the early signs of problems before you take off again. Now, we've got a discount code, OzByDrone20, and you can get a 20% discount using that code.
Well, that was interesting.
That was interesting. My producer pressed a button. Sorry. You can use discount code OzByDrone20 for a 20% discount, and there's a link in the description to their website. But don't forget, you can also try the free version. There's a free version of AirData UAV. Go and check out AirData UAV. So now, without further ado, let's get into our first story, which is this one. Now, CASA is the Australian Civil Aviation Safety Authority, and it's hit a new milestone. We've got 2,000 certified drone operators around the country. The milestone was hit when one of the Surf Lifesaving Northern Territory newest drone pilots got their license. Surf Lifesaving Western Australia and Queensland and New South Wales have already been using drones for the last few years. And currently, Surf Lifesaving Northern Territory only has 4 drone pilots. We've got a picture there. Can we put that up? Oh, that's why. Let's kill that.
Where did that come from?
Okay. So there was a picture that I did have ready to go and play. And for some reason, it's a corrupt file. But the picture, if you can imagine, a bunch of drone pilots sitting around, looking around, and they're in the middle of the desert. But it was a really good image at the time. But it's gone.
And there we go. We are off to a wonderful start with the show tonight. Hey,
Okay.
This is like NASCAR. This is what everybody tunes into this show for, to see how many crashes we can have in one show.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of crashes, we're going to have hopefully some people. I'm just going to put this, it's a little geeky. I'm going to put this on the screen. This is a web page where the people who are trying to connect in can get your drone on the screen today, be part of the show. So if you're ready to fly, we'd love to have you come up and get on the screen today. And let's quickly tell people how to do that in the chat.
That's what some of them were saying. They didn't see the RTMP link.
Can you just type in !RTMP? It's the same every time. If you could do that in the chat. It's a bit hard to do 50 things at once, but just type in ! Yeah.
RTMP.
And by the way, just a thank you to those people who are watching us from Ready Set Drone today as well. We're simulcasting on both channels. Can you paste that? Can someone paste that in the Ready Set Drone chat as well? We're on 2 channels tonight, so it'd be great to have you come across and fly live on the show. In the meantime,
I forgot about them.
In the meantime, we're going to go and disconnect ColdFlake and see if he can reconnect himself.
Oh, there we are. Let me put this link in the Ready Set Drone chat. I apologize. I'm doing 3 things here, and I didn't mean to exclude the people in Ready Set Drone. I just forgot to put the information. Yeah. Now, what can I say? Now I've got both chats up. Now I should be totally confused as compared to normal, which I'm just partially confused.
Yeah, slow turtle running through peanut butter.
That's it. You got me.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly interject and I'm going to call ColdFlake live on my phone. See if we can get him up.
Hello?
Hello, my friend. How you doing?
Okay, I would say I'm on the rendezvous waiting for you, you know.
No, we haven't got anything there. So here's what we're going to do. Down just underneath that, down below, click the disconnect. We're going to disconnect rendezvous and reconnect and see if that works. Okay, reconnect.
Reconnect rendezvous.
There we go. So we've got Grumpy back and we've got ColdFlake and we've got a black screen. So if you could try that again, my friend, and just play around with it, maybe try a different device and hopefully we'll get you back during the show. Okay, that's died there. Hopefully we can get ColdFlake back.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. The wonders of modern technology.
Yes.
It's an adventure. Okay, let's do our second news story and just let's see if we got anyone. No one live flying. We'll go to our second news story.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. The second news story today, the US military is currently testing an Israeli-built drone interception system. This was initially developed for use in the gaming world, and I don't know how they did that, but the new system is already being flown along the Gaza border, and US personnel are being trained to use it. The Skylord system from Extend uses a combination of AR and VR to get the drone pilot a better view of the action. So there we go, and he's got that drone there, captured it, bringing it down, and away we go. We've got ColdFlake in the background. Excellent.
I do see him there. Yeah.
Okay. We'll continue, and we'll do 1 or 2 more stories, and we're looking for people to join. Just a reminder via RTMP if they want to come and fly live on the show today, especially if you're US based. Get up in the air now before it's too dark to do that today. We'd love to have you be part of the show. But in the meantime, let's go to one more quick story. A team of small drones, each resembling a small sensor-laden helicopter, scoured a lush stretch of wilderness near Irvine, California, seeking, among other things, surface-to-air devices lurking in the brush. And I'm going to use the devices because I don't want to get the stream demonetized or anything. These devices found weren't enemy ones. They were props for an early test flight of the Ghost 4, which is the name of this drone. The vehicle uses machine learning, the method behind most modern AI, to analyze imagery and identify targets, but it also relies on more conventional rules-based software for critical control and decision-making among swarm teammates. Let's check that out. Now, what does that look like to you?
Well, it looks like a helicopter. Actually, when I first saw the image, I thought it was a photo of a Cobra. But yeah. Yeah, I want one of those. That would be fun to fly, I bet. Oh, it's autonomous though, right?
They are, yeah.
Yeah. That's, to be used against industrial strength fireworks.
But I don't know about you. If you take off the prop off it, it looks like it's the barrel of a long banana.
Yes, one of those things. ColdFlake's he's looking. He's a long banana. You missed the part where he doesn't want to use the
military terms.
The military term for weapons.
Yeah, we don't want to get the stream demonetized. YouTube and their artificial intelligence of trying to work out what's friendly and unfriendly. We'll just call them bananas.
Wouldn't it be artificial unintelligence with YouTube? I'm just saying.
Yeah, well. Look, regardless of that, it's a beautiful aircraft in terms of how it flies.
Yeah.
And apparently it's very modular in the attachments you can have on it. Looks a very nice piece of technology.
Yeah, and the good thing about that technology is because, once the military's through with it, they'll kick it on downstairs to us poor schmucks that are civilians. So,
absolutely.
We'll get something out of that eventually.
Eventually it'll come.
Yeah, probably when I'm dead, but
I'm just having a look at our guest in the background. We're going to quickly pause and see if he's ready. And at the same time, I'm going to check. We've got no one ready to fly live today. Let me double check that. Oh, no, we've got Mike Miller. Let's go and bring Mike in. We'll do that first, and then we'll bring up ColdFlake. Let me just quickly bring him into the stream.
Yes, Doc Murdoch called that last thing a force multiplier.
A force multiplier.
Oh, you've got to do it with the echo, haven't you?
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound right the other way. Just like, there's no multiplication unless you have.
Speaking of multiplication, welcome to Mike Miller. We've currently got Mike flying. Now, if you can hear us, Mike, just a quick comment. Don't bother trying to listen to what we're saying. You just talk to us.
Hi, guys.
Tell us where you are, what you're flying, where you're going, and we'll try and leave it up to you.
There we are.
Welcome to Mike Miller. We've currently got Mike flying now. Don't bother trying to listen to what we're saying. You just talk to us. I'll bring his audio down for a little bit so we don't open too much of a hole in time and space. But he's ready to take off. Now, just a reminder, anyone who wants to fly today, this is something we do once a month, and we invite people to go fly wherever you are in the world.
The sun is out here in a second. See if I can show you the sun. But right now it's super smoky. I'm going to fly around a little bit and let you see the town. And you can check it out, see how smoky it is.
This is something we do once a month, and we got some jittery internet. We're okay.
There we go.
Right now it's super smoky. And you can check it out, see how smoky it is. This is something we do once a month, and Right now I'm flying a Mavic 2 Pro. I'm in Martinez, California. I've got an ND8 filter on there to hopefully give you a little bit more contrast. Let's see if I could bring the EV to 0. There we go, we got the EV at 0. And you can see how smoky it is. The town's just settled with smoke. Now I'm flying a Mavic. There's ash settling down everywhere. I'm in Martinez, California. There we go, we got the EV at 0. You can see how smoky it is. The town's just settled with smoke. There's ash settling down everywhere. My speaker, I just realized I got feedback. Let me turn down my speaker.
Awesome. Now, while we're watching you, we've got John Morrison, our regular co-host, who had an engagement on earlier today. Unfortunately, that was kind of double booked, and with us starting earlier, he was a little bit late, but he's joining in the background right now. We'll bring him in shortly, but let's just see if we can get a little bit more of Mike.
Wow, this is, man, the smoke in that area is just, yeah.
What's the name of that regular YouTuber, Smoky Mountain Aerial Imaging? This would be good for him.
I lost my stream, it looks like. Where are you at? Where are you?
Way over here by the.
Oh, he's showing you now. No, maybe not.
No, but I'm still says I'm connecting.
So again, this is live flight over California at the moment. Mike Miller flying. Now, Lloyd, just sharing with you, I'm going to put John into the hot seat since he's able to be here. We'll have to re-add your audio in a little bit. Are you there, John?
Yes, I am.
So this is some live flight over California right now. I didn't catch what drone it was.
Where you're at.
Yeah, look, I'm
right here, me
amazed at the
passing
video
by.
we're getting.
I'm way down there. Over 400 feet.
There's another pilot flying with
Out
him
or up?
nearby who was trying to get his stream in as well, but unfortunately I can't
Okay, I'm 900, 300.
see it here at the moment. And you know what I'm hearing? The two pilots going and talking to each other, calling out their altitudes, doing some good safe flying together.
That's great. Yeah, I can't believe the images that we're getting. Well, you know, I was going to say, if you leave Lloyd in there, I might go and set my aircraft up and get some footage over Pittwater today if you're interested, because it's a beautiful day here.
Yours still say connecting?
Well, here's what we're going to do.
You know, tap on
We're
it.
going. I want you
It's on
here
and-
specifically for when we get ColdFlake up,
Yeah.
which we're going to do at the end of this quick little live stream.
Tap it now.
Okay.
You already have it saved. You hit that. It should be there. Now connect.
So we've got one pilot teaching the other one how to do the RTMP thing.
Yeah. Oh, we're in the same spot. Look.
Oh, I just heard we're in the same spot. Look, and then all of a sudden it stopped. No, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it's in the limit of the smoke there. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And
So I'll
memories
tell you
for
what.
us.
I'm going to leave it going and viewing it there, but in the background, let's go and add ColdFlake's audio in. So we'll get shot E2 up. Hey, ColdFlake, how you doing in the background there? No audio. Can you check the setting in your thing and make sure it's not muted? Checkity check, ColdFlake.
He can't hear you, ColdFlake.
You can hear him, can you?
No, I can't hear him.
Got it.
Ah, there we go. Pressing the on button. It's the wonders of modern technology.
Hello. Nobody.
We've got you now. We've got you.
So
I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
great.
So I'm just going to leave the vision on the screen for a little while because those people over there in the US, they're going to run out of sunlight very soon. And I wanted to, take advantage of some of the vision that's coming from them. But at the same time, say hello to you and give a little bit of an introduction for those who may not have seen or heard of you and so on. So ColdFlake, what are you here all about? What is No Limit Drones? Start with that.
Yeah, No Limit Drones is a little app that can remove the limitations of DJI drones in particularly, and we are also going to support the Autel drones. So yeah, literally remove all limitations, including no-fly zones, and enable FCC mode in CE countries, and altitude restriction removals, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Now, I've promoted this today as the launch of the Mavic 3. Now, I didn't tell you in advance that I was going to promote it like that, but that's how I actually see it. You've got the Mavic 2, and then you're selling these new boards. Yep. What's the deal?
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, it happened to be so lucky that I have one just here. It is a Mavic 2 series core board, and it is pretty much like the stock core board. However, it has a permanent root on it, and that is a little hardware mod we have made. So, in long story short, is that DJI can no longer stop people from downgrading, stop people from removing the no-fly zone, and all these kinds of things.
Okay.
So that is pretty cool. And as far as I know, we are the only one who have been able to pull this off. And yeah, that is how it is.
Okay. So let's talk about what that actually means, right? So the fact that they can't do something, you've got some other software on there. Can you describe to me in simple terms, what have you done?
Yeah. Well, actually, we have replaced the bootloader, so it actually boots the core board up in factory mode, which means that it is basically like when DJI is, working with it at the factory. And that puts it in such a mode that you can always write to the file system, you can have ADB running on it, and you basically have full root access. And by having full root access, you can delete the no-fly zone database or replace it with an empty one, or one that still guards the airports, but otherwise is stripped for all other annoying NFCs. And on the longer run, we can even make our own flight controller, so we can be able to remove altitude limitations, and basically like we can do it on the Mavic Pro and Spark and the white pillar, the P4. Okay.
And can you briefly tell us what have you already done in terms of firmware changes? So a standard DJI firmware. There's all of the discussions in the media and the press about talking back to China. Is there anything different in your version of the firmware that's on the board, or is that something that's coming around the corner?
Well, the board is like compatible with all DJI firmwares, but if you use one of our firmwares, we have actually removed all the callbacks to China. And the way we have done it is simply to make all entries to DJI servers point to the local host, so whatever tries to get through doesn't get through. Very simple solution.
Okay.
But it works.
Okay, so earlier today, all of our shows that we've been... Actually, let's just quickly go back to our live stream for a couple of minutes. There we go. So we've got Mike Miller still flying live. Apologies, we're not staying with you the whole time, Mike, but another part of that location where you are there. And again, anyone else who wants to fly wherever you are today, follow the instructions in the chat. We'd love to have you come and fly live. But let's get back to ColdFlake for now. So Other applications. We've had a number of military-related stories on there today, and obviously Donald Trump has, he's gone and said we don't want to buy DJI drones from China. Do you think that your alternate product could be a potential replacement for military or law enforcement applications?
Yeah, but just to correct you a little bit, it was actually before Trump that the U.S. Army decided not to use DJI drones from China. It was a complete ban, as you might remember, when the OGs, original gangsters back in the time, actually realized that so much information was sent. And they quickly banned all DJI products. So I guess that was in Obama's time.
Yeah.
Regarding our board, it's obviously perfect for military units and law enforcement, as it is, it's reliable. So when our firmware has been applied, it will stay that way. And even though you upgrade with the DJI firmware, some of our things will still be in place, as we can also make files persistent in such a way so DJI cannot overwrite them when they come with a new firmware. And in terms of privacy, the hosts file, which hold a pointer to the local host IP, cannot be overwritten, for instance. So even though they keep installing the latest firmwares, no-fly zone can still be removed, and the local host file cannot be overwritten by the new firmware. So in all cases, it's reliable.
Okay, I've got someone putting their hand up, and I was about to go to John. John,
I just think this is fantastic. I've got to ask, Coldy, has DJI picked up the phone at any time and said, "Hey, I just want to have a chat to you about what you do"? Have you ever engaged DJI or had any communication with them on what you do and what you're up to?
Okay, let's just wait for a little moment because there is a delay.
No.
There we go.
And but we know they are having a good look at us. We cannot quite decide if we should be flattered by all the attention or we should be annoyed with it. But it is a fact they are following our every step. But so far we have not heard from them. So.
Yeah, I suppose one of the things here is, by
all means, we are doing nothing illegal, or we are not even. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they would be wondering where you're getting the core boards from, wouldn't they? At least.
Yeah, well, it's just basic stock core boards we buy, completely basic stock core boards, and then we have a little factory who replaces some of the chips with our own. With our own chip, basically.
Yeah.
So that is pretty much how it works. So, yeah.
It's very interesting, that this is, to me, the shoe's on the other foot because, in this country in particular, many Australian patents and technology was replicated by China. I'm a musician. I can remember seeing my CDs, my musical work being sold overseas, being replicated in China and sold, without royalty or copyright. But we see lots and lots of other stuff, all sorts of technology, and looks like things have come back to bite them now because what's good for one's good for the other.
True. Yeah. But I mean, China, they will get a little bit of their own medicine now, So
that's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll definitely get their own medicine back. And and before that, in particular, I'm saying I know this was the same sort of thing in America, but we didn't have copyright laws that crossed over, those borders. And China said, well, we do what we like in our own country. And I think we can just use that one, can't we? We'll use that one. and
Exactly.
it's just saying you can't. Why can you ban a product? Of course we can. You have that sovereign right to do that. But yeah, interesting. Now they'll want to sit down and talk about their patents and their copyright and what belongs to them. Be a new way to think about that.
Yeah, true. I can give you a little quick short story. When the Crystal Sky was very popular, we were looking into making a special LLD version. And we took one apart, figured out the factory, and we wrote them, and they were basically willing to provide us with X amounts of these devices with our own software on it, even though it was DJI's property, if you like.
Yeah, right.
And that is how it works in China. If you, let's say, as an Australian company, have made something brilliant, you send it to China to have it mass produced for cheaps. Well, then the problem is they also kind of have the rights or reserve themselves the rights to reuse your blueprints and everything. So that's how they actually manage to steal old kinds of new technology. So
interesting, isn't it? How now
somehow
things have come around.
Okay, just a quick little interjection. Today is also our live flight day. We've got Craig ready to fly in the background, so we'll put that up in a 4-shot there in a moment. But we'll continue our discussion. So what have sales been like so far? What are people saying that they're going to do with this thing? What's the general feedback been?
Well, first of all, we realized we probably sold our core boards too cheap, which is one thing. And the whole stockpile we had around 75 boards made already. They sold out in 36 hours. Wow. And we have such a high demand that we cannot take any more pre-orders. So we had to remove the pre-order button actually. Because the amount of people waiting in line to get the next batch is almost more than we will get in the next batch. So, but we are ramping it up, and obviously it is a little bit expensive as we have to pay for all the core boards up front. And but yeah, let's say we have some financial things going on, so we will be able to get a batch of 1,000 core boards within a few weeks. So
now,
and then we will.
I want to quickly jump in. We've got a comment from Nick Dykstra. I can't wait for my board to come. So Nick's obviously ordered one. He's saying, when will they be shipping? First question. So he would have been one of the first ones, I guess.
Exactly. We were supposed to ship them today, actually, on the 11th of September. Our batch is still stuck in Hong Kong due to the COVID situation. So as soon as it's released, we will be able to send them out in around 3 days from that time. And we will make a blog post about it today or maybe tomorrow, outlining that there will be a little delivery delay as now they have been sitting in Hong Kong for more than 8 to 9 days, and but they will release them very soon, so we can have the shipment moved, and then we will have it here in a couple of days from that time. So that is a little annoying, this COVID.
Okay. Any other questions in the chat? Please do share them, and we'll share your questions here.
I don't want to be too specific, Cole, but I wouldn't want you to. But Nick has just come forward and waiting for his core board. What are the people who have been shown real interest in it? Are they mostly just hobby users? Has your idea got commercial interest? I would say within the commercial drone industry at the moment.
Well, I would say a lot of those who bought core boards is companies. And of course, there is also a lot of ordinary consumers, private customers. So it's a good mix. I would say 2/3 is corporate. Yeah.
The last thing to wrap up, you mentioned Autel as well. If you are developing a board for that aircraft, does that have no fly limits? I'm not sure.
Well, we just got the drones delivered yesterday, but we are going to support them as much as we can and look into it. So the possibility for a core board for Autel is also there. So like following the same template as we did with the DJI boards. So
what are the concerns with the Autel machine that you know of so far? Because we've just received one here too. We're going to fly it on Tuesday, so we haven't had a look at it yet. So what are you in terms of what needs modifying? Are the limits there, flying limits there, the same way as the DJI products?
To be honest, I don't know yet. But I do know there is no fly zone restrictions on it. That is at least what I have heard. So that is one of the things we will look into. Parameter change the settings as well, which you cannot get access to like through the normal software and things like that. But well, it was just to mention that we will start supporting Autel, but we don't know exactly how and what. We just got them the other day, you see. So
good. I'll look forward to that. It'd be interesting to. I'd love to have you back and to talk about that aircraft. We're going to see more of them coming to Australia now, and there's certainly an interest around the Autel machines. That's for sure.
Just a quick little interjection. Yeah. We'll put this full screen for a minute. The two people we've got flying at the moment. So we've had Chris Hope a few moments ago, and this one is Craig. I don't know Craig's surname, but he's got some beautiful footage coming in there. And I think he was flying in the same location as our first pilot. And as I said, we've also got Chris doing a beautiful sunset shot over there. Just interrupting because we've got these people obviously going to be shutting down as the evening gets pretty close over there. So one quick thing, we've got a No Limit Drones license to give away today, and what I'm asking everyone to do who's watching is, what is it you would do with No Limit Drones if you had it on your drone? How would you use it? What would you do? Where would you go? Now, I encourage you to put a comment in the video after the stream is finished today. And there's a little hint. If you put in anything illegal, you will not win. But anything that is legal that you can do with No Limit Drones that you put in as a comment, the best person, the best idea, the best creativity that we see in there today, that's the person who's going to win a copy of No Limit Drones.
Well, I won't go in the competition at all, but I can tell you when I had my No Limits drones on my first, I think my first Mavic, I was able to change the body angles, and man, that turned that airplane into a tiger. So the thing would stand up, on its side and absolutely hike. I mean, it unleashed so much in the aircraft because the bank angle limits once they're released. So I can tell you that's what I had most fun with that of mine. It turned it into a completely different beast.
Oh yeah, and the Spark, by the way, the little Spark, it's awesome if you give it full forward tilt. I mean, it's like a really angry busy bee, flies around. Yeah. Very cool.
It's got it just seems to, and it even the aircraft sounded different while I was flying. It was fun. I mean, I wanted to experiment being able to change the body angles and also adjust the controllability in terms of the exponential rates on the controller as well. So if you play with that, it's good fun because you can still have it fly quite steadily until you start to get into once you get into the sticks a bit harder, and then unlock the No Limits drone stuff. The thing will absolutely, it'll leave anything else standing in its wake. It's very fun. They're very fast.
Exactly. And while we are at that, I would like to give out a little warning, because we have had users who has been fiddling around with acceleration descent and acceleration ascent.
Yes.
And well, I did it myself. The spark just hit the ground like a rock. It went down like too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you need the power to arrest the descent rate. You can hear. I know that even on normal settings, if the Mavic 2, if you drop the thrust right off, it sounds like the engines have stopped. And then, of course, when it needs to arrest the descent rate, you can hear it really, really pump up. But once you start changing the acceleration rates on those, yes, you need to be careful. Going up's all right. Going up's great.
Yeah.
It climbs,
But down is a different story.
I know. It climbs like
you
a
need
homesick
to
angel.
you need to be mindful of the differences in the way your aircraft works and practice playing at altitude where you've got some time before something bad happens.
And you know what I really like, in saying all this though, I think there's a lot of us in this community that like to have this functionality to play with the machines. What draws us to them to start with. If you're not purely taking photos, I've built a few and or many now, but I love that whole aspect of seeing what it will do, and getting under the hood, if you like. And trust me, for those people that are interested in it, No Limits Drones is the place to start. That's the first bit of software that's going to help you before you start chopping up your propellers and changing the center of gravity or anything like that. Start with the software, and you'll learn that you can do a lot with it. And it's a great product, Kyle. It really is. I've enjoyed using it for a number of years now, and I think you guys do a really good job.
Let me just go through some of the chats here. Nick Dykstra says, I have 2 birds and they both already have NLD on them and they're just waiting on that core board. So that's Nick. We've got Mike B who says, I've got a fleet of DJI birds, so I need about 10 copies. I'm sure you can come up with a special price from ColdFlake. Mike B's a good guy. Mike B's a good guy.
Yeah, we can.
Then we've got Nick says, NLD on my Spark is the best thing I ever did to it. So this is DJI Mark II, if you like. What else have we got? Don't forget to set a cutoff time for the competition so that 3 years from now you don't get someone who posts to win. You've got to post a comment on this video before next week's show, okay? So just to make that perfectly clear. Mike B says, I have NLD software on my bird and I'm very happy with it. Highly recommend it. Lots of people commenting. Will the core board, Brett Nunley says, be available for the P4P version 1?
The core board?
Yeah. He wants it for a Phantom 4 Pro.
No, that's hard.
But that is not needed actually, because we already have full root on all firmwares for that. So that is not needed at all. And custom flight controllers and whatnot. So
yeah. There's a fair bit you can already do with the Phantom, isn't there? That you wouldn't need to change the hardware.
I would say from when they came with the Mavic Air, that was a little bit of an experiment from DJI side, I think, as the communication protocol called DUML, DUML, was completely weird and like they tried to add on something on it. But obviously it was a big fiasco. So they reverted back when they came out with Mavic 2 to the good old DUML version 1. And most likely that is also will be in the new Mavic Pro 3 or whatever they will call them. So, yeah. But for the old drones, which is from Mavic Air and down, I would say, not including the Air, but down from there, until Phantom 4, well, we have it all already fully rooted, and DJI haven't figured out our trick yet, so yeah.
So just out of interest, right, their methodology, if you like, on the Mavic 2, have they basically done the same thing as what, let's say, Apple have done on their phone, where the bootloader is checking signatures of firmware that's getting loaded on it, and the bootloader effectively never gets changed from day one? Is that what they're doing?
Exactly. They use sec Linux, and they basically, in the bootloader there is some flags which are set, and we set one of those flags to factory mode, and that allows the board to boot up, bypassing everything, and gives full persistence in the file system. Whereas with the stock boards, you see, one thing is to actually get root access to the stock board, which is somehow difficult on the later firmwares. But the major problem is we don't have persistency yet. And that means that as soon as the drone boots, well, it will overwrite whatever files we have put in or remove extra files. So everything that doesn't match with the MD5 hash will be replaced by a stock file, which is hashed on what do you call it? Its governing operating system.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about Mavic 2 is the operating system where the flight controller resides is a module called 801. On Mavic 2, they have a module called 901, which is basically also a fully fledged operating system, which is the same operating system as the old birds, like Mavic Pro and so on and so forth. So 901 boots up first, and then it checks that the checksums MD5 hashes matches out on 801, and if they don't, yeah, well, they have a little file handy on 901 to replace it on 801. And that is basically, at that moment, we decided either we make a mod chip or we make some core boards, because this persistency issue is a problem. The root method we have for removing no-fly zone on Mavic Pro 2 Zoom, on firmware 100, that actually repatches every time the bird boots. Well, it takes some files we have put in on 901 and repatches 801 after it has checked and replaced with original DJI files. Then we have our script running that then copies over our files again and repeat that on the next boot and the next boot. So that is how we got around the persistency issue. But again, that it works very well on 100. But for the later firmwares, they removed the part we need to use for doing that. So that's why we decided to do either a mod chip or a core board. Okay. And the core board was chosen because it's very tiny components, and if the average user starts moving around with a soldering iron on the core board, it will look like a map of Iraq or Afghanistan very quickly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Just a quick one for you. I've had a comment from Nick. The Phantom 4 Pro is fully moddable with no limit drones, but according to the bird map, the Phantom 4 Pro version 2 is not fully moddable, as there is firmware that cannot be downgraded to a moddable version. Is that still the current status, and what's the plan?
Well, that should be possible, yeah. We might have a little inconsistency in the bird map, but we have full root on the Phantom 4 Pro V2, and we can do custom flight controllers and everything. So if it doesn't work for him to actually downgrade the firmware, then he should definitely send us a ticket, in support, so we can look into the problem, because it should work, definitely, yeah.
Okay, look, I'm really excited about this. Like I said, this is not you selling core boards for a Mavic 2. This is, as far as I'm concerned, the launch of the Mavic 3 Pro and Mavic 3 Zoom, because there are so many people who, now that they can get their hands on the operating system in a way that can't be backed out, they can do all sorts of things. They can be more creative with their aircraft, and this is just the beginning of a drone revolution.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
I'd love to have been sitting in the DJI meeting when they finally locked you out, thought they'd locked you out, and they'd be saying to each other, well, the only way they're ever going to do this, get around as if they replaced the motherboard. Yeah, everybody salute. And then all of a sudden,
Exactly. So that is exactly what we will do.
that's exactly what we'll do. And it
Yeah.
just you keep imagine the amount of the research and development time they're spending on locking you out of the aircraft and locking you out of these things. And to do
Exactly.
this, what I love about this, you said, well, give it your best shot, pal. Give it your best
Yeah,
shot.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
to actually do it, and then go and make 1,000 motherboards. Maybe they'll sort of say in the end, well, I don't know, we're wasting our time with this. We really are wasting our time. Why bother? But what?
Hopefully they will.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they will conclude they are just wasting their time. So.
Well, on another
Yeah.
note, Cole, I think it's a nice business for you to have. I mean, we're all interested in your work.
It's very cool. Yeah,
Do you
we
use your
love what we are doing for sure. Yeah.
Do you use your
So
skills, your software skills and engineering skills to develop other types of aircraft and flight controllers, or is your company involved in that?
say again, please. Sorry, the
I mean,
TV just went nuts behind me.
I'm just wondering whether you use the skills that you have in software and engineering to develop other products. Does your company do other jobs in terms of flight controller development and flight controller software and so forth?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have our company. It's called No Limit Technology, and we do all kinds of other projects as well, which is completely different from this. And that is so a system that allows for booking private jets very easily and a few other things. But that is completely off the topic. It's just more because
no, it's right on
we
topic.
find it funny.
It's right on topic for me. I'm very interested. So that's your passion, really, isn't it? Is to look. You're a detective in many ways, I suppose, a software detective.
Yeah, you can say that. So, but speaking of being detective, I need to go find my charger very quickly before my phone dies. Sorry for that. 1 second.
So while you do that, just a quick little interesting anecdote, John. The OGs, when this first was happening, you're indirectly responsible. Oh,
Sorry, there we go. That was me. I'm still here.
You're indirectly responsible for some of this.
The
story just for those who haven't heard it before. John and I have been mates for a long time, and John was whinging to me about the inability to fly in no-fly zones, not to do anything wrong, but to do something legal. Because if you're a licensed RAPL holder and all of that kind of stuff, and you've got a permit to do something, the process back then involved sending in physical pieces of paper and scanning them, faxing them, and all of this other palaver, which took weeks to get processed through DJI. So John was whinging to me. And then after he whinged to me, I got involved in the group, which the OGs, and I was having fun back in the day reverse engineering the iOS app, and particularly monitoring the communications that are going in and out of that app. And I don't want to understate it. By the way, thank you, Metro Drones, for the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. I don't want to understate it. Back when this was first happening, there was definitely datacomms going back to China. It was happening.
Yeah.
I did a video which was posted on Ken's channel back then, where I actually showed on the screen the packets that were going back and forth. They've cleaned it up a lot. How much is left? I haven't had a look in a little while. But yeah, those were fun days. Now, just a reminder again, for people who do want to win a copy of No Limit Drones, all you need to do at the end of this video, when we're finished streaming today, go in, make a comment. What would you do with No Limit Drones on your drone? Make sure it's not something illegal, because we're not going to support that. Now, John, I see you getting up and moving about.
I am, but the studio is being reshuffled now for Jackie's session, so I'm going into the other studio room. So there you go. You want to take a singer outside? I'll just take you out and have a look where we are.
Let's just go full screen on John. For those viewers who are regular, you will know and recognise John's location. He broadcasts on a regular basis from his houseboat. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in their beautiful pea green boat, and that's the colour of the boat.
Yeah, it's lovely here today. Absolutely beautiful. We're in spring weather. And we don't have our bushfires, fortunately, which sorry to hear California's the way it is. But here we are. I'm back in Studio 2 now.
Okay, and thank you, Wayne King, for the super chat. Very much appreciate it. Let's go through
thanks,
a couple
Wayne.
of other... Look, we'll leave ColdFlake there rather than have him worry about trying to get back on. We'll run through the rest of our news.
Can I just say before we get off, Cole,
Yeah.
I'm just pleased that someone obviously as smart as him can forget to charge his phone. Don't you dig that? I mean, here's a guy. I'm just thinking about what this guy knows, and hey, what he's talking about is so much higher level than me. And he's also brought to market a modified core board. He's not a slouch, and yet he's still got a flat phone. I love it.
But do you know what? But do you know what's even funnier? Last time he was on, exactly the same thing happened. He forgot last time. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Different result.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's good. I love it.
Okay. Look, let's just check if anyone's flying before we do anything else. Just in case, I'm going to quickly go and have a look at that. If anyone wants to fly and be live on the show today, we've had Chris Hope, Mike Miller and Craig. I don't know which Craig that is, but if any of those gents want to fly, you're welcome to. I think I've got data coming in from Mike Miller. Let me just see if I can get that up.
Yeah, I think we lost ColdFlake.
Yeah, we've lost ColdFlake, but we'll leave it there for him because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I want to give a big thank you to ColdFlake as well. He was feeling unwell today. And because he missed us last week and he was about to miss this week, he said, no, look, you know what? I'll man up. I'll go and take some painkillers. So he's currently surviving despite headaches and other challenges, shall we say. But there we've got Craig. No, sorry, that's Mike Miller again flying. Doing a little bit of tracking of a couple of canoes there. So while that's happening, while we've got Mike there, let's talk about our additional stories. Now, the next one that we've got coming up has got a little piece of video in it, but this is talking about a company called Teal. And this is a US-based company that the Teal founder and CEO, George Mattis, he describes his new product as a flying smartphone. Let's just chuck that video up for a little while, shall we?
Now you want to use this drone, it's called the Golden Eagle, I think, for commercial delivery. Have I got that right?
That's exactly right. You know, Teal's goal is to empower American businesses and American warfighters with superhuman capabilities. And Golden Eagle, which we have here, is smarter than Chinese drones with its autonomous flight and secure software. Plus, it's military grade and made in America. It's kind of like a flying smartphone. And Stuart, promise you could fly this thing like a professional because it is just so advanced.
So, you've been listening to Susan here. You know that I'm not technologically advanced, and you're saying even you, Stuart Varney, could fly that drone. Okay, here's a serious question. Could that, your drone, could it take off, make a delivery someplace, go back in the air, and then make another delivery someplace else? In other words, multiple deliveries. Can you see that happening?
Absolutely. That's able to happen right now. The future is here.
Oh.
Can we just pause that video for a minute?
You're straightening Stuart Varney out about technology here.
We're just going to pause it there. Now, John, first comment on that?
I'd love to look at the aircraft a bit closer. I'm keen to see more about the aircraft. Multiple deliveries, autonomous, multiple deliveries.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I still get the wrong packages from people that read the label and deliver it to my house. There's some challenges there. Maybe that is the human error that's the problem. in some respects. But there's a long way to go. I mean, I love the fact that, and we're in a stage here. We've got to remember that in a stage of venture capital where a lot of startups that are really trying to develop their product and develop their technology, we'll put a great yes, we can do that. We just need the money, of course, marketing and money, and we're in that stage. You can't really blame or forgive them, for wanting to do that, because they're getting, he's on the news, he's doing a news story, and he's saying to the newscaster, well, yeah, you can fly my aircraft, and you can do this with it, and you can do that with it. I get it. But those of us that fly know, well, here's where that might not go well for you. Where are you going to take off from? Where are you going to? What are you flying over? All of that stuff comes into the real world discussions once you're operating these aircraft. And we all know that.
Yeah, I've just got a view that I don't think, I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Just play the last little bit of the clip. There was a bit more.
Now you want to use this drone. It's called the Golden Eagle, I think, for commercial delivery. Have I got that one?
Oh,
could it?
That's able to happen right now. The future is here.
Oh, I see. There you go. You see, you're straightening Stuart Varney out about technology here. But it is all American, made entirely in the United States.
That's right. And we were actually the first company to mass produce this category of drone domestically. And today, we work with government as well as Fortune 500 companies for things like reconnaissance, public safety, and infrastructure inspections. And one thing I'd like to quickly touch on is that not many people know, but Chinese drones have completely infiltrated our country, stealing critical data and sending it back to China. We've basically funded the Chinese military by procuring their drones while also becoming dependent on them. So today, my team and I are excited to help rebuild this country's drone industrial base and to help keep America great.
Okay, can I put Grumpy up on full screen for a minute?
Tell us all about it, Grumpy.
My producer, now that ColdFlake is gone, we've got to actually put him back in a shot. There we go.
What a knothead. I mean, oh my God. See, this is what happens when you don't educate people in college and just send them off to learn how to macrame or whatever it is they do in college nowadays. You end up with blithering idiots like that. They can solder, but they can't think for themselves. Anyways.
They're just replaying some of the words. These drones are sending stuff back to China. It's too much marketing guff, and it's ending up on the news. The fact that we're talking about it here, at least we're laughing about it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you got a guy like that poor Palm newscaster, and you know how gullible the Palms are. So he believes all that crap,
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
he does. It is. It's marketing stuff, and we hear it's a bit of using the fear card too, pretty heavily, Lloyd. And that's always been popular, with marketing.
My question is, he says it's all American made. So what's that going to cost? About, $50,000? Because at the wages that we pay for people to put those boards together and all those chips together and all of that stuff. No, he got those chips from China, just like ColdFlake is doing, I don't believe a bit of it,
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. I got a couple of other doozies, and what we're going to do is we're going to quickly whip through the stories we got today, and I call this one OzByDrone. Just play the clip. Okay, I surprised my producer. Now, without putting too fine a point on it, these are some big bananas.
7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Delay. Come on.
Even the camera moved. So let's go back to us now. We'll stop the clip there. Long story short, this is US military sharing their capabilities of what they do with objects that are threats in the sky. But I've seen some anti-drone systems, but that one's got some power in it.
Yeah.
The actual story was Army and Navy cannons shoot down drone fake cruise missiles, successfully downing target drones acting as stand-ins. So, look, interesting story there. I'm going to skip over a couple because we saw them on Ken's show the other day, but I will tell John about them just because he will have a laugh out of it. This one, the Green Drone, a pro-legalization group, are believed to be behind a stunt of dropping free green material over Israel. And people have been smoking that up. We've got the footage there. We'll play a little bit very quickly. And the people are seen going and lapping it up and taking it home. And look, I've seen... Go, Lloyd.
This might be the answer to the Middle East problem. Drop pot on all of them, let them get stoned, and they can all stand around and be happy, you know?
Yeah, there you go. That might be it.
Play a little reggae music from the drone, you know? I mean, hey, don't worry, be happy.
It's all about flying high. Okay, moving on.
That's it.
Okay, next one. Let's kill that. Okay. ColdFlake has come back. We'll add him back into Rendezvous, but we'll just say goodbye to him in the background. So, ColdFlake, if you're there, you can go to bed. We'll leave you to sleep because it is very, very late, okay? Have a lovely evening, and thank you very much for being part of it. We won't put you back on screen. Oh, yes, we will. There we go.
It's always good seeing you.
Yeah, it's always good.
Whoops. We don't have audio. It's okay. Thank you. See you next time.
All right. See you, mate. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's go on. The next story is 107, where we found something. And this is an interesting one. Now, this one, again, it was on Ken's show, but again, for your benefit, John, this is something where...
Oh, yeah, I know this one.
You will have some direct input into this one, I'm sure. Tell me.
These guys are buying an aircraft at the DJI store, and they're checking out the Mavic 2, and of course, when you buy it, the serial number would be known. Some days later, they tried to fly pharmaceutical drugs and mobile phones into a prison near Long Bay Jail. The problem they had was they didn't actually spend long enough learning how to fly, and they crashed it 300 metres from the jail wall, and it was picked up and reported to police. I don't know how they crashed it, but they didn't know what they were doing. They obviously thought they wouldn't get caught, but wow, here it is. So it's great footage, and they're having a look at different aircraft they might use. I wonder how much that'll carry. And there you go. That was something that happened here in Australia.
Yeah. And again, not that I would encourage you to do this, but getting one of ColdFlake's core boards with a custom serial number, no, I wouldn't encourage that. I'm kidding. That's not one of the answers to the quiz that I want to see.
Well, these guys still would have got caught because, obviously, if the aircraft was a batch number even, you're going to be able to trace the product to some degree. But yeah, I thought it was a fascinating story, an interesting way to get caught.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 3 more to go, and I'm going to quickly throw one up right about now. And the next one is a watchful drone, and in this one, A-Drones, and that's the name of the company, A-Drones, has unveiled its new automated aerial solution that consists of a multi-rotor aerial vehicle and mobile base station for recharging and sheltering. The new system called Watchbird is portable and completely automatic and operated aerial system. So we've seen a number of these kind of enclosures that are able to go and be used for charging, storage, landing, takeoff, etc. So another one of those.
I know it's another one of those, but you know, this has got some real engineering challenges in it to make it work, and a good one, because I've looked at a few of these, Greg. They're very expensive, because many of them they're not in mass production stage. They're purpose built, and there's a lot that can go wrong with them. And they're not very portable, as you can see. That's not something you can move. It's a great idea, and it's a little look at the future, but man, there's a lot of work in making that come together. It looks pretty simple, but we've had a look at some of the challenges and just the way the aircraft boots, and you know, we're going to put a new battery in it. Are you going to land it? So I've seen ones where the battery is actually replaced, like a robot that takes the battery out, puts another one in, and it's got a hot swap.
That'd be
like
good with like
the
that'd be good with like the Skydio, where it's just a magnetic clip.
Yeah. One of the things that technology does have that we'd really like to see in more of the aircraft that we fly is hot swapping. So if you're out flying and you've got why not have this tiny battery in the aircraft that keeps it booted so that you can hot swap the batteries? It's a really, really handy thing to have, and I just don't think enough people ask for it, and the manufacturers haven't done it, because you can do it in the Matrice 300. I know you can do it in the aircraft that have two batteries. I think the Inspire 2 has it as well.
And what's your reason for that? Just the minimise
when you're
the
working,
ground time?
I mean, you might be come across something. You're out flying, and you come across something really interesting, and you've got limited battery. So you think, I'm going to do a quick battery swap. You come back down. If you can hot swap batteries, you can be virtually airborne again in seconds. Whereas if you've got to shut the aircraft down and boot it up, it takes a couple of minutes. And what happens is, what we find is that people rush that stage. So you need to check, yes, I've got satellite lock again. I've got everything's good to go. Obviously, the autopilot, the flight control is still warm, so a lot of the IMUs are still at the right temperature, which is good. But we think just the smallest battery would allow you to hot swap properly. And for us, it means you don't have to rerun those checks. So that's just from an operational point of view.
Yeah. Okay, I've got two stories left, one of which is a really short one. We'll do the other one first as I press a couple of buttons, because this computer is thinking about it. There we go. Press, press, press. Done. This one is, since drones became widely available, military forces around the world have been using them extensively. DoD, however, has not up until now had the opportunity to safely adopt such systems, particularly because of the things we've spoken about before. As of September 1, US Department of Defense has been able to buy small drones from 5 Pentagon-approved manufacturers. The go-ahead is the result of an 18-month project coined Blue SUAS, Small Unmanned Aerial Systems, to develop small and reliable drones for the Department of Defense. Have a look at this. So we definitely have the force multiplier happening over here. Parrot and Arfi putting their hat into the ring. Of course, made in USA. Now that zoom on there, that looked pretty interesting, I'll say. Now, I'll stop the story there, but back to where we were talking about before, I think the whole idea of taking the DJI tech, using something like the ColdFlake board, that's another answer to the problem, but it's good to see that there's some US-made tech out there as well. Yeah,
that's right. Some good options. And the Golden Eagle that we saw earlier is one of those. It's going to be one of the options. As I said, that was a fairly hypey kind of ad as well. music-wise, and we've got the best, and we've got the lightest, and we've got the quietest, and we've got all of that is marketing hype.
A force multiplier.
Yes, a force multiplier. Thank you. Exactly. And you know what? Until you actually got your controls in the hand, and you're flying the thing and operating it, you have real no idea. And then again, it's in the hands of the right operator. What it's capable of. But who knows? We'll really see, and the market ends up really, deciding, doesn't it? What do they cost? What's the cost of the Golden Eagle and the Amphi? I know the Autel Evo is about $1,000 more than a Mavic 2 here, nearly. A lot more expensive, but that's okay.
So let's move on to our last and final story of the day, and this one I'm titling Boing Drone. This is not really drone related at all, but it came up through our drone search feed and it gave me a laugh, and I just thought I'd share it here. Boing. Wait. Play that one more time. It was just something funny. The subject in the Reddit post was like a drone. Boing. And straight on the head. That's all. It was a good laugh.
You can practice that for a while. It'd be hard to get it down.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
We've reached the end of our show today. I'm just doing a check. We've got no one ready to fly. So thank you to Craig, Chris Hope, Mark Miller. Who was the Craig? What's the Craig's other name? I'm curious.
I don't know what his channel name is.
Yeah. Look, thank you for coming and flying. Thank you to ColdFlake for being part of the story and the show today. If you want to win a copy of No Limit Drones, when the show is over today, make a comment. What would you do with No Limit Drones? How is it going to help you? And the best one will be selected next week on next week's show. I think that's all I've got for today. Let me just quickly run through a couple of things. Our regular end of show announcements. Number one, if you want to send something, there's an email address, upload@gregkuhnert.com. Number two, if you would like to follow us on different social platforms, at OzByDrone on each one of those and a few others. And if you've got anything physical you want to send, 5/127 Princess Highway, Sylvania, New South Wales, 2224 Australia. Any last thoughts, words or comments from you? We'll go Grumpy first.
Well, I got to say, the chat has been on fire, especially over on the Ready Set Drone side, because I'm monitoring both of them here and then monitoring the comments to put up. These guys have been coming up with all sorts of hilarious comments. They've been, and both sides have been doing it, because actually some of the same people are on both chats. So, but man, they've been coming up with some good ones tonight, and all I could do was sit here and laugh. But yeah, this has been a fun show, and ColdFlake is always entertaining to have on. And tomorrow, 8 o'clock, I think, Central Time, Geeksvana is doing the pre-show for the Spin Up 2020, which will also be on the Ready Set Drone channel at, I think, 10 o'clock my time, Central Time. So that's where
which will be in the middle of the night for us. So
yeah,
well,
will be.
You guys are going to have to work out your own spin up thing,
No, we have to spin down.
Well, spin down. Actually, that's on the 26th in Dillon, Colorado.
Anyway, next one we've got John. Any last thoughts, words, or comments from you?
No, great show. I love having Cole on, because it just it blows my mind what those guys are doing and what they've done. And also Australian drone registration coming up in 2 weeks. We're going to get a great laugh out of that, everybody, when that goes live. So that'll be a funny show as well. So looking forward to that. Lots of stuff coming from CASA at the moment on what's in the future for us here. So
you missed our first story today. Did you know that CASA had reached 2,000 certified drone operators?
Yes, I did know that. I heard that celebrated the other day. 2,000 REOC holders.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. They might have a few drop out, I think, but interesting times.
Yeah.
Great show, everybody. Really fun.
Thanks, everyone. It was fun having you, as always. See you next time, and bye for now.
Bye for now. See ya.
Bye.